A top U.S. diplomat is due in Israel, hoping to seal a deal to halt Israel's military operations in Lebanon. U.S. envoy Amos Hochstein met with top Lebanese officials in Beirut on Wednesday, fueling optimism over a ceasefire between the militant group Hezbollah and Israel. But Hochstein still has to convince Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to go along with the truce proposal.
Fresh hope a breakthrough to end the fighting between Israel and Hezbollah could be within reach. U.S. envoy Amos Hochstein reported progress after more talks with Lebanon's parliament speaker, who is leading mediation efforts on behalf of the militant group.
So I just concluded another meeting with Speaker Berry. The meeting today built on the meeting yesterday and made additional progress. So I will travel from here in a couple hours to Israel to try to bring this to a close if we can.
Israel's war with Hezbollah escalated in September. Its military ramped up airstrikes and launched a ground incursion into Lebanon in a bid to put an end to relentless rocket fire from the Iran-backed militant group. Since then, the Lebanese health ministry says more than 3,500 people have been killed. Hezbollah has seen its leadership decimated and its supply of arms greatly reduced. The U.S.-backed peace proposal would create a UN buffer zone in southern Lebanon, with both Israeli troops and Hezbollah fighters withdrawing. Hezbollah says it has reviewed the plan, but that its success depends on the Israeli Prime Minister.
Do we expect these negotiations to produce a ceasefire and a halt to aggression quickly? No one can guarantee that, because the issue is linked to the Israeli response and to Netanyahu's seriousness.
Israel has demanded that the freedom to respond to violations by Hezbollah be part of any potential ceasefire deal. U.S. envoy Hochstein is due to discuss the proposal with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Thursday.
Hanin Ghaddar is a senior fellow at the Washington Institute's Arab Politics program and has written extensively about Lebanon and Hezbollah. It's good to have you back on the program. The U.S. envoy says that he sees, and I'm quoting here, a real opportunity to end the Israel-Hezbollah war. How close do you think we are tonight to a ceasefire?
Good afternoon, or good evening in your case. We are definitely very close, but one day it's very positive. The other day there are negative signs coming from Lebanon or Israel. It's really about a few things, especially the Israel's insisting on its right to preempt, do preemptive targets on Hezbollah and to keep its rover flights. Another issue is the mechanism in which who will be monitoring Hezbollah in Lebanon. Is it led by an American general or is it led by the French? So far, these little details, what Amos Hochstein is doing in Lebanon is trying to finesse these details in the draft in order to take it to Israel, looking good for Israel, but not too aggressive for Lebanon. However, I'm not very positive. I don't think that Israel is going to allow this agreement to become another 1701 ceasefire agreement. The plus, when they talk about 1701 plus, this means Israel will have the upper hand and would want to make sure that if the mechanism fails at preventing Hezbollah to rearm, then Israel will target Hezbollah. They really need to keep this whether in the agreement itself or a side letter between the U.S. and Israel. And that's really where it all stands.
Do you see any similarities here to the situation with Israel and Hamas? I mean, we've had several times where we've come close to a ceasefire, and right before that ceasefire is clinched, then Israel says it has an objection. Do you see that happening here as well?
I do actually. I see I see Israel objecting to the recent changes in the draft, especially that the U.S. the part that says now today that was added that U.S. guarantees that Israel will not attack Lebanon or not attack Hezbollah basically in Lebanon. I don't think Israel will accept that. There are certain issues in the draft. The draft itself, if you look at the whole draft, it looks good for both parties, but the devil lies in the details. And these are the details that Israel, after spending so much time really mitigating Hezbollah's military effort in Lebanon, they want to see this translated in a diplomatic and political way. And I don't see Israel accepting the changes to the draft as they are, especially the word sovereignty here that Lebanon insists on is really the devil in the detail. Sovereignty, it means that Israel will have no right in flying over Lebanon. But I think Israel will not accept this, and they will call it a necessity. They will see it as a necessity for sovereignty, for security, for Israel's security. And this really is not just about flying south of Litani. South of Litani, in a way, it is going to be under army's control, and Hezbollah will not immediately go back to south of Litani. I think really the detail here that everyone's worried about is the other border, the Lebanon-Syria border, where all the weapons are smuggled into Lebanon all the way from Iran via the land bridge, passing through Iraq and Syria. And this land bridge is really what is going to make Hezbollah's efforts work or not work. If the other border is not secure, then Hezbollah will be able to rearm. And I think Israel needs to monitor that border by keeping its right for overflights in Lebanon. And this is what Iran and Hezbollah do not want at all.
Let me ask you before we run out of time, the impetus for these talks to get as close as they are tonight, do you think it has anything to do with the fact that in just 2 months, Donald Trump is going to be U.S. president again, and he has made it clear that he wants the fighting to stop, period?
Yes, that's definitely true. He wants the fighting to stop, and he kind of gave everyone an ultimatum until January 20th, when he comes into office and start working. He doesn't want to spend a lot of money in the Middle East. He doesn't want to keep American forces in the Middle East. He wants the fighting to stop. However, that also means that two things, that the Israelis have 2 more months to do it. They're not in a rush. They do not have to agree to the ceasefire today. They have 2 more months, and this war has been going on for 2 months. So they feel that they can achieve a lot more in 2 months. So they're not in a rush. And 2, I think also the Israeli Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, prefers to give this agreement, if you want, like the ceasefire agreement in Lebanon, he prefers to give it to Trump. And he already hinted at that, saying, we will stop the war in Lebanon as a gift to Trump. He hinted at that, and he prefers to give this ceasefire agreement to the Trump administration rather to the Biden administration, despite all the efforts that have been made. He and Trump are much closer, and both of them want an achievement at the beginning of the administration. And I think they will wait until the last minute to do it.
Hanin Ghaddar with the Washington Institute, we appreciate your time and your analysis tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.